Hello and welcome back to another, well, I guess our first ever live stream. We are unboxing Earthborn Rangers, our first ever live stream for Earthborn Rangers. Hey, Beast, how's it going? New game? Yes, absolutely, yes. So this is a game that I backed on Kickstarter. Ooh, a while ago, and it showed up this week, and I am excited to unbox it. It's another game that kind of follows the LCG model. It's not an LCG because it's not by Fantasy Flight Games. I actually should know who it's published by, but I don't. Um, anyways, yes. This is a exploration game. It's a game where you're going to be building a Earthborn ranger. So you're taking care of the environment and you're going to be building a deck and taking it through a campaign. And that's what this game is. I am really pumped. I watched a couple of videos to refamiliarize myself with what's going on the other day, and I'm pumped for it. I'm hoping that we'll get the we're gonna do the unboxing here. I'm hoping that we'll get a first play in maybe next week if we can squeeze it in. We'll see. Hey, Villain Theory, how's it going? Yes. Oh my goodness, excellent. So if you want more information on the game, you can use the command game on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be down in the video description. But let's dive in. So I did get the base game. I got the card doubler. So here's a card doubler. I don't think we'll go through this because it is just the same content. And then I got this, and I honestly have no knowledge of what I bought. It's probably some add-on, so we're gonna experience that and enjoy that together because I have no idea what it is. It is a really nice box. It feels very sustainable. They've got all the non-plastic wraps, which is really nice. But let's oh my goodness, there's a lot of cards. Let's make this pretty. Now we're gonna go over here. Earthborn Rangers right there. There is a good number of cards in here. One of the things that I like, and I see this, we'll walk through it here in a second, is you get to create your character. And whoa, hey, that's a hefty box or play. Wow. Uh, you sleeved 500 cards last night. It was glorious. That's awesome. That's amazing. And here's all of our tokens. Perfect. Okay, let's get that off. Alrighty. So you get to create your character. I am not 100% sure on exactly how all the intricacies of the rules work, but from what I understand is you are going to be able to create a character that has 4 different stats. Let's go ahead and just dive right into this so I can kind of talk about a little bit because I see the card that I want. So we got awareness, spirit, fitness, and focus. Let me see if I can get that close. So the 1, 2, 3, 2, that's the awareness in those colors. And what you're going to be doing is every single round, you're going to place the number of that stat as chits here. These are fine cardboard chits, but now I'm wanting some fancy, like buy the same token chits or something. And then this is your currency. So you have this, and then each card is going to, or each test may cost a awareness or a spirit. And you spend these, and then they replenish. So you do get a little bit of customization around your hero, which is pretty cool. And something that, will build decks, and that's a whole other facet of the game. But this is a cool way to customize your own personal identity. And I think that's really interesting and fairly unique. I also don't really know how the game is packaged, and so it is a campaign. We'll take a look at this. This is the Lure of the Valley, and so it's a rulebook prologue, and then you have your missions, and each one of these has different triggers that whenever you're instructed to read a trigger, it's very similar to Arkham in that sense. You'll go and read and maybe get a hindrance or a boon, and then future or past decisions could carry over into your next one or influence other actions. And so apparently it's a very robust campaign. So it's a little bit bigger than kind of what we got with Night of the Zealot and Arkham. So I think it's a bigger campaign than that. So that's exciting. Um, we've got the Valley. This is sorry about that. This is the map of the valley, and these are places that we can go and experience or take on different missions. And we will be moving around this map in in the game. So not necessarily through the campaign, but you can actually move around in scenario as far as I understand. And that will change kind of the setting. That will change kind of what your overall goal is for that specific scenario. And so part of the mechanic is to actually move around the map. And so not to the extent where like in Arkham every single card is a location. You actually have this map and you will move around, and each location has a setting card that then you will put on the table and interact with. We got a rule book here. Ooh. I do also just love the art. It's Andrew Navarro. Okay, Andrew Navarro, Andrew Fisher are the creative directions, game design. I'm trying to see if there's any other, and then the Evan Samo is the art director, but Andrew Fisher and Andrew Navarro are the designers of the game, and the art is really really gorgeous. So, my goal this weekend is to familiarize myself with the rules, maybe get a couple of games in, and then so we can dive right in next week and play together. Because I do think that this game is going to be pretty big. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of these cards. See what we got. So each one of these, you know what? We're gonna just be looking at the rulebook and seeing and using the correct terminology here. So these are nope, those are not challenge cards, aspect cards. So whenever you choose your aspect, this is what you're choosing. So you're choosing your stats, what stat or kind of how you're going to be customizing the different characters, and these I believe I assume are all unique. So like, here's the difference here. And so you can choose what aspect you want. And so that's going to be just lead to some additional customization for your character, which is pretty cool. I honestly have no idea. I assume that there's a prologue that will help us with that, because I'm not going to be the one who's going to dive right into deck building with this game, because it does seem like there's a good number of levers to pull. The card quality is pretty nice. Let's deck build right now. Let's just do it. Let's dive in. Okay, I think these are deck building cards, so I think we'll start. Excellent. So what these are, see, this is what I was talking about. So Eagle's Eye is a moment and a skill. A moment is similar to like an event. It's an immediate effect that you can carry on, or that you can activate. This is one awareness. And so if this was your aspect, you would spend the skill points from your awareness to play this card for the cost of the one awareness. You have twos, X. So this one is, say, play a moment from your discard pile without paying its energy cost. X is equal to the chosen moment's cost. So you could play Perfect Recall on Eagle's Eye because it's a moment, and use your focus rather than your awareness. And so we also have, I'm gonna go find a Ranger card, and we'll thumb through and try and organize, because I do want to talk about a lot of the other stuff as well. But I think it'd be really good to have a Ranger card in front of us, which I think that's more of an enemy card. But let's take a look at that. Has anyone played this yet? I'm curious. I know that people are just now getting their backed copies from Kickstarter. These are more deck building cards. Oh, there we go. There we go. So you can choose your role card. So this is the Exceptional Tinkerer. So we've got this, and this would be paired with an aspect. So we have something like this. This says to exhaust. You can spend one energy. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Yeah. Spend one energy to add one token to a tech. And then we're going to be looking at cards like tech, like the Pharaoh There we go. The Pharaoh. Exhaust, use one profile. When a ranger performs an avoid test, commit one effort. So in a avoid test, we get an additional effort. And then this is a tech, so we can add a token to a tech. So this uses one, we have one use on this. However, we can exhaust our roll card and then have this on call for us going forward. So that's pretty sweet. I wonder if these are actually the pre-built decks. That would make sense. Okay, yeah, these look like the pre-built decks now that I'm looking at them, because all of these are techs, and so I'm thinking that the exceptional tinkerer is going to lean into this one. All right, so I'm gonna read just a couple of these cards. I'm not gonna go through all of them because there are a good number of cards, but I just want to kind of get an idea for how they all work. Masterful Engineer is just ready attack, and so instead of getting energy to fuel the techs, you just get to use them again. But I'm kind of curious to see how these cards are laid out, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we've got, I wonder what the deck size is. Actually, I should know that. Basic concepts. Hey, Mover, how's it going? Welcome. I'm trying to find what the deck size is for here. It may be actually creating your ranger. Choose your aspect ranger card. Determine your personality. Choose your background. Oh, that is cool. So I do remember saying this or reading this now. It is very much kind of similar to like a TTRPG where you're choosing your ranger card, you're choosing your aspect, your personality. So you choose your the type of person your ranger is, your background, your specialty, and then your outside interest. And so there's a lot of customization that goes into it. That's really cool. That's so cool. I'm really looking forward to pre-built deck cards. Okay, so here we go. Like the background of the artisan, it has your flavor texted here, and then it does look like these are the cards that you're bringing to the. Yeah, these are the cards that you bring if you choose the artisan background. That's really interesting. Shepherd, Traveler. Oh, look at the sheepdog. Nice. Calming Presence. Ooh, the Shepherd looks fun. The Shepherd looks kind of like the Druid. The Traveler. Artificer. I am kind of curious how this works as a solo game. If I can, I do like the solo aspect, especially when I'm first kind of starting out the game. Oh, and these are the specialties. Hold on. These are different. So backgrounds give you the cards that are coming in the deck, whereas the specialty also gives you cards, but it's also your role. That's where that's linked into. So we have the Artificer, the Conciliator. Spend one energy to add a token to an aid card. You got the Explorer. The art is so good. We got the Shaper. And then your personality. So this is your personality. Wait, maybe they are called aspect cards, but I think it is chosen by your personality. Cool. I'm going to keep this open because I okay, so let's take a look at the anatomy of a card. We're learning together. Actually, let's find a card that's going to need us or give us a test. because it is going to be similar to Arkham in the sense that you're going to be testing against cards to get progress for specific cards, and there are cards at somewhere that will modify the test. But here's a monster right here, the Hydra Worm. So there we go, the Hydra Worm. So this states I'm looking. Okay, here we go. Here, focus. So we can test a focus. We can activate 2 to add 1 to the feature being played for every 2 effort. So the focus here can be modified with this value. And so similar to Arkham, we can use the cards to modify the value. So see how those symbols match there? So we can use them in that sense, or we can play it as a gear and put it on the table for our abilities. These are these feel like plastic, like nicer cards. But I did just buy a ton of new sleeves, so we're gonna be able to sleeve these up. Alrighty. So the play area, let's take a look at the play area and how this is built out. So we have the surroundings. So the surrounding is kind of the act and agenda, or kind of like what's going on in the game. So it contains like the location, the weather. The weather is what determines the difficulty of the challenge. So if you want to replay and you want to make it a little bit harder or easier, you can change the weather. There is a recommended weather for the different scenarios, and so you can follow that, and that's probably what I will do to start us out. But the the weather is kind of the challenge. The location is currently where you are on the map, and then the missions that you're trying to uh, achieve, and then the missions are kind of what the what the specific scenario is about. Then we have player area at the bottom. So this is at the top of the table. We have the player area at the bottom. This includes all of our decks, our cards, our aspect cards, all of that. And then we have 2 levels in between the surroundings and the player area. These are within reach and then along the way. And so in order to interact with something further away from us, say we want to interact with the surroundings, or we want to act within the with cards along the way, the cards in between us, so the cards within reach, are going to hinder our progress towards a card further away. Anything within reach is super easy to deal with. It's right there. And so we can interact with these cards and then work along the way. So let's see if we can find, where did I put the, here it is. I'm gonna see if we can just learn from the prologue here. It does look like you just kind of build your own deck. That's fine. Okay. I want to find some weather cards. I also want to find the challenge deck, because it does have a mechanic that is similar to like the chaos bag. There's a challenge deck that will modify the decks. Oh, here we go. Here's some locations. So like this is location 1 of 37. The white sky. So this has a test on it. We can test awareness plus hearts to search, to scout the path equal to your effort, and then draw 1 path card. Path cards are cards that will modify, um, kind of like the encounter deck. And so let's see if we can find this on the map. Maybe not. Oh, 3R. It tells me. Oh well. So here are location cards. There are already planned expansions for this game, and so oh my goodness, there are a lot of locations. Okay, and here's some of the mission cards. So this journey mission is an interlude. You must venture to a specific location to progress the story. And so in order to progress the story, we have to arrive at the location uh book 150. Then so these are the mission story cards. Torrential rains are causing flood, so there's a lot of ways to modify, and it looks like we're about to get into the challenge deck here. Oh, here's the weather. Here's the weather. So this is a perfect day. This is again going into go into our surroundings, so this will be kind of a universal environment for our scenario. As a refresh, we discard one cloud from this card. If there are no clouds remaining on this card, we flip it. It starts with 3 clouds. When we flip, it's a midday sun. It becomes hot. Becomes hot here. 0 clouds. Add 1 cloud to this card. If there are 3 more clouds, we can flip it, and then we suffer 1 fatigue, and then we start adding. So it's a interactive, or maybe not interactive. There are tests on it. So this one says like add 1 cloud to this card and soothe 1 fatigue if we're able to focus and pass this test. So there are ways that we can modify these, and these are kind of the difficulty of the game. So we got downpour. This says down. I discard 1 rain from this card. This starts with 4 rain. Each ranger suffers 1 fatigue. If there's no rain remaining, we flip this card. And then we have the Gathering Storm. So it's not raining, it's gathering now. Electric Fog seems intense. And here are the challenge. So whenever we're making a test, we have these cards, and it looks like I am not 100% sure on this, but I'm curious. Challenge deck modifies the effort up or down, potentially changing the outcome of the test. In addition to modifying your chances, uh, you'll find 1 of 3 symbols. These symbols match the cards found in play. Okay, so these are your. Oh, sorry about that. These are the modified deck. So you're going to shuffle these, and if I'm testing focus, I'm going to flip one of these, and I'm going to modify it by the focus value. So this is going to be 0. So if I was testing, if I was even, I would pass. You can go plus or minus. I'm curious, I didn't see this in the video. If there's more than a doesn't look like there's more than a plus or a -1. Oh, there's a -2. There's a -2 focus there. So it looks like there's 1 -2, which is probably not too bad. I think we could probably mitigate that fairly easily. Like in Arkham, when I'm looking at the chaos bag, I kind of have an idea of like, okay, we're, on average a -2. I want to be above -2. This looks like it's going to be like a kind of a 1. And then we have a symbol here. So when we flip this, it's going to activate like here. There is an active Hydra Worm. It damages the foundation. We add 1 damage to this feature. And so these are going to be modifying and interacting with the cards anytime we take a test. That's really fun. That's really cool to make a dynamic chaos bag in that sense. And just, it's also cool that it's a deck. I am curious if you discard or if you're always shuffling. So like if I use this, is that card out of the deck until I shuffle, or is it coming back? Because that matters. Because if we've seen, a ton of these blue, let's see if I can just find the word for it. Probably not. If we see a ton of the blue challenge cards, then maybe we get less of those going forward if we're not shuffling. I do like this. Getting started, we recommend that at least 1 member of your group fully reads through the rulebook. Okay. Oh, the creating the ranger deck following page 32. I'm curious about that. Let's dive into 32. Okay, we already looked at this. Cool. There are common tests. So similar to like Arkham, there are tests that you can take at any time. So the common test, we can test fitness, modified by that cool symbol to traverse, to add one. I think that's progress to a location or feature equal to your effort. If you fail, you suffer one energy. So you're adding like these progress tokens. We have spirits. I When I see SPI, I just think spy. I'm gonna have a hard time not saying spy whenever I do that. Um, oh, to a being equal to your effort, you add to a being focus for your remember scout ranger cards equal to your effort, then draw one ranger card, and then we can exhaust one being. So it's basically evading for awareness. What I forgot and what's really cool here is that was a different back. Your deck is also your health, and so I'm surprised that those have the same back as deck building cards. Those are like, yep. So you have your deck and you're playing this card, right? So you have like the Exceptional Tinker. Whenever you suffer fatigue, you actually take cards from the top of your deck and you place them in a fatigue pile. Whenever you deck out, you are out. And I think it's after one or everybody goes fatigued, the day is over, or like the game is over. But there are cards that interact with your fatigue pile, and so they're not discarded necessarily. They are in a different deck, and then there are going to be cards or rangers or mechanics that interact and draw cards from your fatigue. So it's still your deck that is your health and what you are doing, or how much time you have left. But if you discard cards, it's not like they're out of the game. There are ways to interact with that. Um, Oh, so this is like a lingering injury. So this seems like a curse here. So fatiguing 2. So you discard 2 cards. Whenever you draw this card, attach it to your roll. And we can test fit modified by triangle. And I will find those, whatever those names are for the symbols and everything. They're somewhere. Or maybe they're not. Who knows? Uh, to return this card to your collection, so you can get rid of it with a fitness 2. And so if a base value of any test is always 1 unless it says differently, and so here your fitness is treat 2. So let's go ahead and read how the test work, because that is something that I am a little interested in. So choose a test that you're going to perform from a card in play that is not in another ranger's play area. Then choose any other cards the test will be interacting with. Most tests will interact with the card they are printed on, but some, such as the common test, interact with other cards. So your common tests are here. Then ready each card between you and the card which you're interacting. Then each ready card between you and the card you are interacting with fatigues you. So that's, discarding the cards from the top of your deck. And that's when I was talking about like the surroundings within reach, or what was it, just out of reach along the way. So if I'm testing something along the way and there are ready cards within reach, it's going to fatigue me. And that's the penalty for not dealing with the current threat. We are then going to commit effort. So tests can succeed or fail. The more you commit to a test, the more likely it is to succeed. Effort can be committed from several sources. So we can commit energies. So here, if we're taking a fitness test, we would have this energy, which can be used to pay for cards. Or if we're taking a fitness test, say we're going to be doing this lingering injury card, we can do fitness. We have a target of 2, and we can commit triangle cards from our hand. So let's go ahead and find one of those that has like 3. Here we go. Okay. So you can spend 1, commit here. Right now we're even. We would shuffle this up and draw. Modified of 0, we would pass the test. So that's kind of how the test works. Oh, this, I'm sure this, I bet this is Predators, like path and environment. Yeah, it looks like these have the suns on them. Yeah. So, that's kind of how the test would work. You also can commit effort from other sources like gear, helpful beings, ranger tokens, apply the modifiers, and then we after we determine this success or failure, we would resolve challenge effects. So on the revealed card, you'll find one of 3 unique challenge icons on a banded color. After you resolve the effects of the success or failure, you must resolve the effects of each challenge effect matching that icon that is shown on the active card. So that is important. Active cards are ready cards in the surrounding along the way, within reach of you. So it is only non-exhausted cards. So if you use your awareness to avoid a card, they're exhausted, they're no longer active. So if I exhausted a character and I drew this, it would not trigger at that point. Um, oh, okay. So these are reshuffle icons. There you go. So that's how that works. Is similar to like a Gloomhaven, Frosthaven. You are going to be flipping cards, and whenever you hit one of these, which is a reshuffle icon down here by the sun, that is your trigger to reshuffle the cards. Okay, I like that a lot actually. Um, that's a way to kind of get best of both worlds there. That's really cool. So we have progress and harm, which are our progress is the mountaintop and harm is the damage looking icon. And most cards have thresholds. Let's see if we can find a yeah. So here we go. Matching one or both of these token types in the upper right corner of the box. So this has a damage threshold in the red or a progress threshold in the blue. Um, so clear, you can feel the swamp shudder, add 1 damage to each other Hydro Worm in play. And then these are the modifiers. So if we flip this, this is ready. If this being has 1 or more damage, the swamp churns. Search the path deck and discard pile for a Hydro Worm and put it into play. And so whenever we flip a card like this, we're triggering the Hydro Worm's ability to hit us again. If there's another Hydro Worm in the same area as this one, they spread out, move this being, and then exhaust this being, and we suffer 1 damage. So every ranger has 3 health, and so whenever you suffer a damage, that is 33% of your health. I'm sure there are ways to heal and all of that good stuff. So that's kind of how that works. Each ranger has a ranger token unique to them. So there's everything from obstacles to enemies to locations. So like this obstacle here, you can add a maximum of 1 progress to test this feature per test to this feature, and this is a if we flip the blue, we have to exhaust our roll. So the way that we can use our roll cards, this one says you can spend 1 energy to exhaust to add a item or a token to a tech, but you can also exhaust, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but if you're playing multiple characters, if you're playing multi-handed or multiplayer game, you can have you can exhaust to give up your ability to take 2 turns in a row, and so that is also taking away that ability. So you do want to push through. Where did I put it? The obstacle. Where did I put it? Okay, well, it's gone forever. Sorry, Beast. No. Um, and each one of these does have flavor text on it, and you can go to insert 45 to read the Spirit Seeker now, and all of that. Really cool. I want to look at player cards. I'm also kind of curious because I want to get. I'm gonna hate myself for doing this. I'm gonna pull out all the roll cards. If these are in the correct location, that's gonna be oops. But I want to see all of our options for rolls because I feel like that is one of the more interesting things to take a look at. These are all your moment cards. So this is like move all progress from a being to a feature. So homeward bound, we can play this. It costs 2 fit, and then we can move all progress from a being to a feature. So there's different ways to interact with the game. The more that I'm thumbing through this, the more that I'm thinking there. Oh well, there's a ranger, or a roll, I should say. Um, I was gonna say it doesn't necessarily look like they're all together, but they may be, or like the decks are built. There's so many cards. I I did hear what I've been seeing online is that the amount of content in this game is pretty impressive for a core box, and so that's exciting. I don't remember how much it was. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I don't quite remember. I have no idea what these are. Oh, these are the background. Oh, that's pretty sweet. So personalities. I have no idea what these are actually. Hold on. Um, I thought I thought I did, but here we are. Oh, these are card dividers. There you go. That makes sense. They are the same. Oh no, they're slightly bigger. Okay, that's nice because there is dividers and everything that you can set this up in the core box. Okay, well that makes sense. So there are dividers. More enemies. There's another predator in play. This predator comes into play exhausted. Can ready another prowling wolfhound if you have 3 or more fatigue. Exhaust is being suffer 1 injury. I do really like the multiple ways that they are able to make a card interact with the game. So you can have, you have this being like this arrow says that it's going to be put in within reach, whereas if the arrow is like up, then it's going to be put in the not in the surrounding along the way. So it's going to be in that second row. And so there's a lot of ways that you can interact with the card. The card interacts with you based on cards that you draw, based on the weather. It just seems like it's going to be a very interactive game, which means that I'm going to have to pay attention. These look like deck building cards. These are attributes. So after you succeed at a test in which you committed this attribute, you may suffer 1 fatigue to add it back to your hand. So these look like your skill cards from Arkham. The number of the matching symbol is equal to the number of awareness in your energy pool. Okay, so that's pretty sweet, and how the deck building can interact with both your role as well as your aspect card. So if you are playing this, say if I play Perceptive right now, it's actually a matching 0. But if I had 1 energy, it's a matching with 1 card. And you can get all the way up into like a relatively balanced to a. Is it 3-2-2-1 everywhere? It does look like it's 3-2-2-1 everywhere. So you're gonna choose a primary stat, two medium stats, and then one stat that is a little bit lower than everything else. So like 3-2-2-1. I'm curious. I am kind of interested to see what is needed, and with these stats, how it will interact with through like a solo lens. How that's gonna work, um, or if it's gonna be like Arkham, where there's just so much going on that you're gonna need multiple characters at the table in order to be successful. Who knows? So these look like all of your skill cards. Looks like we got the same thing for determined. It's equal to the number of fit icons and everything. And so yeah, we got all that. The links for coat. It's a lot of skill icons. Exhaust when you suffer 1 or more fatigue from a path card, reduce the amount of fatigue suffered to 0. So you get to keep all your cards. A new card game is so exciting and intimidating all at the same time. It's like there's so many new like words to learn. There's so many like weird like what do these symbols mean? I think the devs play a lot solo from what. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. I'm excited because I believe Navarro was no. I definitely should know this. Navarro was a part of Arkham, correct? I know the name from somewhere. I know he's done something. I wonder if there's gonna, or I wonder if there already is, or if we're gonna see like a Rangers DB pop up at some point. Maybe not from the same area, but like a deck builder for DB. Okay, so it looks like these are the roll cards. So let's go through some of these. You got one, two. Okay, so the Undaunted Seeker. We got exhaust. When you perform a test, we can dodge one card. I assume dodge is exhaust or I ooh. That's actually, do they have a keyword reference? They do have a index, which is nice. So dodge is on 22. Okay, okay. That works. I was like, if there's a keyword reference, then we're feeling really good. Dodge. Some game effects allows you to dodge cards when you're performing a test. When you dodge cards, those cards do not count as being between you and cards which you are interacting. So it saves you the fatigue. You got the Perilous Pathfinder. We can move our token to a feature that feature fatigues you. Choose a manifestation in your discard and add it to your hand. So it looks like a little bit the prodigy of the floating tower, a little sorcerer here. Exhaust Scout, one challenge card. Let's see what Scout is real quick. This is just the additional concepts page here. So it's in the middle of the rulebook. It's actually, I think, in the direct middle. Like if I just let this fall open, maybe not. Yeah, it's like right there. So that's actually nice. Distraction's over. You now have my full attention. So scout, when you are instructed to scout a deck, you look at the top number of cards. So it's scry. For example, scout 3 path cards, place any number of those cards at the top or bottom and of the deck in any order you choose. So scout one challenge card, so you get to scry. The book looks really, yeah, the book I have never seen this book before. I've never interacted, and it feels like it's really easy to get into. It just feels like really inherent on what you need to do. You have Voice of the Elders. Spend one energy to add one token to an aid card. I'm hoping aid is support. Reduce a being's presence to 0 until the end of your turn. Ready attack, and then this is spend one energy to add a token to a tech. I'm excited. I kind of, yeah, I'm pumped to see how this goes. I'm thinking that you probably start. I assume that there is a standalone mode. Each session of the Earthborn Rangers represents one day of your campaign, so maybe there is only the campaign play. Uh, hmm. Yeah, so here what I was talking about, the Ranger deck, Ranger discard, and the fatigue stack. So you got, different things that modify your either your health or your fatigue. Additional concepts, card anatomy. I'm gonna see if I can. Okay, so that's your set. Okay, so it's like there you build them with like mod sets. So title, card type, area indicator comes in if it where it enters. Campaign guide entry, which is number 5. Oh, so yeah. So if there is a campaign thing to read, that's where that would be. Okay. Also, that's what this is. So this is a fatigue. Um, what is this saying? This is the presence. This is determines the amount of fatigue it deals and scales on other effects. And so if you're bypassing the Hydro Worm, you're going to suffer two fatigue. It's not just one fatigue, and it's only if that Hydro Worm is ready. If it's exhausted, then it doesn't. It's just if you're interacting with cards beyond the Hydro Worm and it's ready. So tokens. I want to see what is 9. Progress threshold, a measure of the ranger's progress in overcoming or connecting. Okay, so it seems like there are ways to add progress to the or to enemies as well as damage to the enemies. Damage to the enemies are going to clear it as well as progress. And so this has a 5 damage threshold and a 9 progress threshold. I'm trying to figure out how to add progress to it though. uh oh, it's spirit. Okay, so spirit, you can try and connect with the Hydra worm. You add progress to it being equal to your effort, whereas fitness, or I'm sorry, it looks like it looks like there's not a direct common test that can attack an enemy. Maybe those are cards. Let's see if I can find a card. I guess I can look for damage. I can look for the damage symbol. Uh, okay, so focus, use 1 dart, shoot, add damage to a being equal to your effort. There you go. Whether you succeed or fail, dodge all cards between you and that being. So it's like a range. It comes in with 3 darts. You use 1 dart, and then that's how you can damage. I think some of the player cards have their own ways to add presence to certain enemies. That's cool. Yeah. So it sounds like there's 2 ways to deal with enemies, and you can kind of build in 2 different directions, which probably means that it's fairly friendly to solo play, right? So you can build directly into kind of avoiding or damaging, and then deal with the environment in different ways based on that. Ability and test mission objective, which is oh yeah. So yeah. So these are side missions. This is your interlude mission. You must venture to a specific location, and then this is like a mission deck. I'm ready for the full pacifist playthrough. No damage dealt. Hopefully that's possible. That'd be fun. Eh. I do like how there it does feel like there's a lot of ways that you can like build into 10 aspect requirements. Oh, okay, that's cool. So like here, let's look at the ranger card anatomy. So we have energy cost up here. This is how many tokens it costs to play. This is the approach icons, so we can commit the card to add that many icons. It comes in with the shows the special token type, so it comes in with 3 buffers here. 4. The amount of space the card takes up when equipped. So this takes up 2 spaces. It looks like you have 5 equipped spaces, and so it's not necessarily, from what I'm understanding so far, it's not necessarily it's not I have 1 footwear, it's I have 5 spaces to hold equipment. And so this is 2 of that 5 spaces. That's a cool way to do that. I love the modern card design. It's very sleek and easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lot of information conveyed in a very efficient way. Um, and then here, this is the aspect requirements. So this says 2 spirit or 2 spy here. You have to have this value or higher as shown in your aspect to include this card in your deck. So I could play this with this aspect, but if I had this aspect, I only have 1 spirit. I cannot actually play the energized hiking boots. So that is going to there's a lot of things that are interacting with the deck building here. Um, you have to find the right aspect, because this is also how much you're spending. This is also like how you're playing cards, and you're refilling to the max value. I think it's to the max value. Instead of like you don't add one, you go up to one at the end of each round. But those tokens are for your tests. Those tokens are to pay cards, but it also is your base value determines what cards can be played. That's pretty cool. Alrighty. If there's anything that people are curious about, we can dive into that. I've kind of, I'm intrigued enough at this point to just kind of be happy. We have this mystery envelope that I want to unbox, but I think let's do the mystery envelope, and then this weekend I'm gonna learn how to play this game, and we're gonna play it. Ah, I did get the player card doubler. I was not 100% sure if you could play. I probably could have read it, but I was also like, with the card doubler, it opens up the option for deck building. And with Kickstarter, I don't really like to run the risk of not having the right cards or enough cards. Oh, more tokens and more. I actually, okay, so I think it's just. Oh, I wonder if it's more tokens because of the card doubler, and then that's more. That's less exciting than I was, was gonna be. This is kind of the assembly of the box design. I, I may keep it in that box. At some point, we'll probably move it over into one of the big BCW white boxes. But I'm pumped. I'm hoping that we can get a game in. Uh, hey, Sirius, how's it going? Villain Theory, love your channel. Yes, Villain Theory has a great channel. Um, I am curious to see how we. Or I'm gonna learn how to play this game, and I'm hoping that we can sneak in a game next week. So awesome. Yeah, that was that's kind of all I wanted to do today is just kind of take a look at the new game. New games are always fun. So I'm gonna be sleeving that. This is probably what my the rest of my day looks like: sleeving, learning the game, and watching One Piece. So I'll probably also film a video. But awesome. Thanks all for hanging out. I appreciate y'all chilling. Can't wait to see more of this. It looks so cool. It looks really, really fun. I'm pumped to try more. Probably what we'll do is I will play a couple games, and in our first stream we'll go through the prologue, but I'm also going to go through the character creation because I do want to do that on stream. I'll do a couple off stream just so I'm not fumbling through it like this unboxing was. I'm like learning new stuff. Hopefully I'll have an understanding of the game once I start actually streaming it. But this is a game that I've been. Hey, thank you for the sub. Thank you, Villain Theory, for the subscription with the Amazon Prime. Been subscribed for 6 months. How crazy! That's awesome. I appreciate you. But yeah, this has been a game that I've been excited for a pretty long time, and I am gnawing, or I'm gnashing at the teeth to play it because. Also, I'm really happy that I have the clear sleeves because I really like these card backs. I like the. Gosh, just look at that. That's so pretty. I love the colors. The color palette in this game is really solid. Awesome. Well, thank you all so very much for hanging out. I appreciate you all. If you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the Discord. We have a dedicated channel for Earthborn Rangers in the Discord. And so probably get a little bit more of use now that the game is getting into people's hands. And so we can talk about it there. Or if we're on YouTube, drop a comment. Let me know. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you around. Peace.